to our 2020 Town Hall meeting. I would also like to welcome those who are watching us from our live stream. Let us take a brief moment to watch this video on safety.
Hello, welcome to Park Rotana, Abu Dhabi. Your safety is important to us, hence thank you for your attention as I take a few minutes for the fire safety briefing. Please note that we are at the Grand Park Ballroom. In case of an emergency, please stay calm and do not panic. Please do not use the elevators and please do not return for personal belongings. In an unfortunate event that you hear the fire evacuation message, please evacuate the building via the nearest emergency exit door, as you can see in the following evacuation plan. There are two exits, one at the pre-function area and another at the garden side of the ballroom. Once you have exited, please proceed immediately to the assembly point near car parking outside the hotel building. Should you have further questions, please approach one of our managers on duty. Thank you.
Without further ado, I would like to invite our CEO, Engineer Ahmed Al-Zahri, to the stage to start off our ceremony.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'd like to thank you all for being with us today. And it gives me great pleasure indeed to welcome you to this important meeting, our Town Hall for 2020. Of course, you were all invited to this important session because we believe that you are all members of the leadership team of this organization. And we count on you to carry our message forward and to live our values and objectives in everything you do. Whenever you come to work in the morning, think, what shall I do to help the company achieve its targets? This is something that should stick always in our minds. So today, we'll take a look back at 2019. We'll align our ambitions for 2020. And we'll also try to address how we will be realizing our goals given the experience we gained over the years and in light of the development within our industry. Overall, 2019 was one of the best years in the history of NPCC. It was really an exceptional year for us. We all worked very hard to thrive and to take the first place on many stages. So thank you very much for your hard work. We won the most prestigious award for health and safety, the Sword of Honor, from the British Safety Council, as well as the 5-star audit. Also, we won the ROSPA Gold Medal for the 6th consecutive year on business performance. And on company and corporate excellence, we won the prestigious Sheikh Khalifa Excellence Award. So we achieved our goal, and we managed to win the gold category. Financially, we had a record high when it comes to revenue. We went over 6 billion dirhams, and this is something that we are really proud of. So thank you for all what have you done for this company. Of course, our yard also set a new record by handling and loading the highest number of structures and platforms in a single year. More than 55 structures handled in 2019. Of course, I should not really miss this important achievement. We set a record high, a new world record, by manufacturing the largest and the heaviest platform on fixed jacket. So this is an achievement that we are all proud of. Let us take a few minutes to relive this historic moment.
ومشاركتكم لنا الاحتفال الوطني باستكمال شركة الإنشاءات البترولية الوطنية تنفيذ أحد أكبر منصات النفط البحرية في العالم. لقد صنعت أكبر منصة نفط بحرية في العالم من ولأجل الإمارات، فقد تم تنفيذ جميع مراحل المشروع بالكامل هنا في ساحة التصنيع بشركة الإنشاءات البترولية الوطنية بأبو ظبي.
An achievement that will live with us for years to come, for sure. 2019 was also great in capturing a number of developments that will give us the ability to navigate in the future and also to write our next chapter of growth. We conducted a number of studies and we have done a number of investments. We looked carefully at our strategy. We conducted a comprehensive market analysis, and we looked into the status of our organization, and also it enabled us to refine our 5-year business strategy looking forward. Of course, this is crucially important to us as we try as much as possible to identify what are the opportunities available to us and what are the challenges that we need really to keep in mind as we go forward. of course, human capital is the most important asset for any organization. And we continued expanding our learning and development offering, and also fulfilling our amortization mandate. I'm really proud to be part of a program that is offering 100 vacancies for our UAE nationals in 2020. The target for us is to reach 550 Emiratis by the year 2022. This is a big accomplishment for our company. Also, we continue to develop a program, a unique program to develop our talents. As I said, human capital is our most important asset, and such programs will enable our employees to reach their potential. This is a very well-studied program involving reputable international educational institutions, including Harvard Business School. Also, we engaged with industry leaders in digital transformation. We signed a contract worth 40 million dirhams with Aviva and Microsoft to help us in our journey towards digitization. This is only the beginning, and hopefully we will manage to invest and manage our time more efficiently in the future. And also, to ignite our efforts to penetrate deep sea, we made a very important investment. We acquired European-spec vessel, Delma 2000, with total investments of 330 million dirhams. Of course, our ambitions are high. We should celebrate 2019, and we should use it as a starting point for moving forward. We want to achieve even greater heights. We want to develop new sectors and penetrate new markets. But most importantly, we want to achieve higher efficiencies. How we perform and handle ourselves in 2020 is absolutely crucial to the future of our company. With your dedication, diligence, and innovation, we can achieve great heights and great developments this year, both on the commercial fronts and the operational fronts. No matter what investments we make, no matter what assets we acquire, it all depends on those who are operating it. It all depends on those who are behind the scene, running all these massive equipments and massive assets. So it's very important to keep in mind that people's attitude and behavior is essential to achieving our targets. In line of this, I would like to share with you some important priorities for us to all focus on in 2020. First, let us continue our focus on health and safety and environment, ensuring the highest standards, the best practices that cover our employees, our clients, our partners, and our assets. Our goal is to provide a safe working environment for every single one of us. An environment that is accident-free, and we are aiming to maintain 100% HSE across all of our operations. Second, customer satisfaction. As you know, the true measure of our success is our ability to realize our clients' aspirations teams and to exceed their expectations. We must strive continuously towards this goal. Third, adapt quality and excellence as a goal and a driving principle in everything we do at NPCC. Fourth, enhance our operational efficiency and cost management. This can be achieved through better coordination between us, between the different departments involved in every project, as well as through focused, forward-looking planning and operation. Fifth, innovation and human development. With human resources as the most vital resource of any company, we must focus on promoting a culture of innovation and place it at the heart of all our activities. Last but not least, collaboration. We all have to work closely with one another and make sure that we are communicating efficiently so that we can achieve the necessary level of synergy across all our departments. I'd like to close with a quote from Michael Jordan. He said, "Some people want it to happen. Some wish it would happen. Others make it happen." Thank you for your attention.
I would like to call upon Mr. Jamal Al-Wahdi, VP SPD, to update us on his 5-year plan.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Ahmed, executive management teams, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to continue the discussion in this town hall event. Before I delve into the strategy and the business plan, driving to the event today, I was reflecting over the strategy journey and what we are doing in MPCC. And I was trying to identify if there was a word or two that truly describes and underpins the strategy theme that we have. And driving from Dubai, I had all the time to, as I said, reflect on this. And I think there are basically two words, as far as I see, that maybe describes what you are trying to do in this strategy. And it's really to unlock the potential. It's only about this. I mean, let's not get distracted by any fancy words, by maybe the envisaged challenges of devising a strategy. It's really only about unlocking the true potential that we have in this organization. I've had the pleasure of working in this organization for just under 8 years. And I'm definitely not hesitant to say it's an amazing and truly very capable organization. Now, in the slides that I will take you through, we will share with you the strategy aspirations, we will share with you the market trends that you are seeing, and the perception going forward. But at the same time, I also would like to seize the opportunity to say that it's not necessarily an easy ride, it's not an easy journey. But again, with the potential that we are trying to unlock, it's absolutely not difficult. It's a matter of aligning the potential, it's a matter of having our priorities right, it's a matter of putting the dedication, the determination Ahmed talked about earlier, and we are there. We interact a lot on a daily basis. with the client community, we interact with the competitors community, and we are envied. Really, as an organization, we are envied. People realize that we have a lot to offer and that we have not attained the true potential of this organization. And it's on us all to make that happen. And the strategy is just a capture of your aspiration, of the shareholders. But at the end of the day, it's you and us who makes that happen. And I'm very confident, and you've demonstrated over the years that is there. In this organization, as I said, we have thousands of man-years of experience. We really have what it takes. Absolutely, we really have what it takes. I think now we'll just take you on a macro perspective of the market. What's coming is positive. Let there be no doubt. If you look at demand on oil, demand on gas, demand on renewable, it is all growing. So there should be really no concerns about diminishing demands for energy, or that renewable would be actually substituting oil and gas demands in the foreseeable future. It's not the case. The way the realities are is that there will be a lot of demand going forward, which basically means that the road is paved for NPCC to capitalize on its experience, its knowledge, and its track record to maintain a sustainable growth over the years to come. Now, if we zoom in slightly in a micro perspective into the market, again, it's very positive. We are experiencing delays sometimes on awards, on tenders floating in the market. But it remains to be a very promising market for those who are prepared for it. If we are prepared for it, we are guaranteed to reap the benefit, and we are well positioned in comparison to others for many reasons. If you look at the offshore, shallow water offshore, where obviously we are a formidable player, there is a lot between the current areas of operation: Saudi Arabia, UAE, India. New places are also emerging. Kuwait is accelerating its exploration offshore. We are already in contact with them. So I think these are also new frontiers for NPCC. Downstream is also a thriving, a promising market. We are not there yet, however, we have good capabilities. Nevertheless, I think we still can address some of the requirements maybe on the utility side around the downstream in the near future, with a plan to move forward with that. So it's really positive, as I said earlier. Europe obviously is also there because we started tapping into the renewable market, though cautiously, because we are really testing water in that market, trying to understand the dynamics, what drives the market, the specifics of any market, because this industry is critical industry. A wrong decision can have serious consequences, and I think this organization has proved over the years that it's a prudent approach. The way it identifies opportunities, the way it tackles opportunities, the way it remains in control of the destiny is paying off. So Europe is a new area that we're exploring. Egypt is another emerging market. Things are accelerating in Egypt, but again, we are trying to, and we've had the first job in Egypt. It's a learning curve, and we are optimistic going forward. There'll be more to come. Now, as far as going forward and where NPCC is positioning itself, this slide depicts the sectors and the geographies, and where we are now in the various sectors. At the bottom, you will see the existing, which is mainly shallow water. So we are in these geographies. We projected Europe there and Egypt because we are starting. As I said, in the renewables, simple jobs that we are now trying to do, and trying to pre-qualify and trying to bid for jobs that are dedicating or directed towards wind farm. On the core markets, going forward, we are working on building capabilities to start tackling the onshore mega jobs. So far, we've been only focusing on small to medium-sized onshore jobs. Going forward, we are going to be pushing the boundaries higher, and we will start tackling more complex onshore jobs. It's a market that we see that it will grow here and in other geographies as well. And on the longer term to downstream, moving on the downstream from supporting main contractors in the downstream jobs, focused maybe utilities and the supporting role, to a more engaged through collaboration that Ahmed talked about earlier, coming close with the technologists, coming close to the entrenched and renowned contractors in the downstream. The story will continue in the other geographies on the extension vision, or the extension as far as the geographies are concerned. Egypt, I said it's a growing market. We are having aggressive campaigns in Egypt. We will be incorporating a setup in Egypt, leading hopefully to a higher market share in Egypt. Europe, again, we are building more knowledge, more know-how. So again, the renewable, and I have to be specific here, when we say renewable from NPC's perspective, it's offshore wind. We are not contemplating an entry into solar power, for example, at this stage. The focus is only on wind farm renewables. So I am also building capabilities in there. And on the longer term, on the extended market or geography reach, we are also building capabilities to start tapping into the deep water. Deep water is a very demanding. It's a very closed market, controlled by a few players. And we've made attempts in the past to try and penetrate through collaboration. They were not particularly receptive to NPCC. However, that's not the end of it. I think we are determined with the leadership of the Senior Vice President, Engineering, the operations, the project management teams, and the commercial. We are really driving this, and we are building know-how to be able to penetrate that. We are building relationships to form the right collaborations that we want to be able to tap into that market of the privileged or the elite ones. The journey as far as the geographies will continue into other areas like Southeast Asia. Again, in the past we made attempts to bid, we were successful. Unfortunately, clients had a change of heart and those tenders were delayed. Nevertheless, there was a lot of learning curve out of that, and that's the way organizations grow and prosper. You need to go through a learning curve, and you need to be persistent at learning from the experiences that you have. Kuwait is another area also part of our extended geography reach. We started a small job now in Kuwait, like what we did in Egypt, just to understand the market dynamics. What does it take to really work effectively in a market like Kuwait? They are not very far. Nevertheless, they have their own regulations and their own laws and policies that drive doing business in Kuwait. I think it's a good start, hopefully leading to a more engaged and a market share in Kuwait. East Africa and Nigeria, again, this is part of the extended geographical reach. We are actually accelerating to a certain extent as far as West Africa. And now we are testing waters in some jobs again to facilitate entry into those markets. We are optimistic. Within the next couple of weeks, we will be having a team visiting Nigeria to look into specific opportunities that we've identified. So I think the message that I want you to walk out with is that it's positive. What's coming is really positive, it's encouraging, and I'm saying this because I think really we want to, as I said, go to what I started my discussion with. We need to focus on how to unlock the real potential that we have in this organization to make it happen. I'm going to be mentioning names, not to scare anybody or to, McDermott, Saipem, Samsung, Hyundai, JGC, LNT, the Chinese. Yes, everybody is coming to this market. It's an open market. There is an influx of international players, but The positive side of this is that we as an organization, we prove that we can compete. We prove that we can bang heads with these and that we can excel and that we can outperform them. So I think this gives us actually, the energy, the motivation to focus more, look onwards, and bring the best that we have in this organization to make it happen. And this is exactly what the strategy is all about. The strategy, we maintained the 5 pillars that we developed in 2017. We had that fresh look at the strategy. And what is it that we really need to be focusing on to take this organization further? We are entrusted with this organization. We take it on our shoulders to make sure that this organization is a leading EPC organization in the energy sector. It's no longer oil and gas, it's the energy sector, that's the renewables, and it's open. So basically, there is that commitment from the team to do that. Ahmed addressed in his opening remark things about growth. Two main strategic objectives. We have the growth. We need to make sure that this organization is sustainable, that there is a steady growth, the shareholders' aspirations are fulfilled. The government is quite excited about the company, and the video we played earlier just demonstrates the commitment. It would come with high expectations, of course. It's not going to be, a blank check for us, but I think we can count on the support going forward. Local content compliance is one of the opportunities, I think, going forward. It's becoming critical. Our client communities in various geographies are enforcing these local content activities. And we need to be on our toes, we need to be very agile really to understanding and anticipating the changes. It does put sort of challenges in front of us, but at the same time I think it opens up opportunities, because what we've been seeing is that the organization is quite dynamic in trying to find ways around all these challenges and turn them into real opportunities. Now, obviously the 3 main local content areas that we are focusing on now is, one is in UAE. ADNOC has launched the local content, the ICV, country value. Saudi Arabia, they have the Activa, and India, they have the local content. 3 very demanding programs. They make us think differently, they make us work differently. At the same time, we need to manage this local content in a manner that does not disrupt the business. Because while you might try and focus on Saudi and say, I need to ensure that I fulfill the local content in Saudi, you want to maintain that delicate balance with your in-country value in UAE and also the India local content. Because at the end of the day, you have, no matter how big you are, and we always say that we have a very large fleet, we have a very large workforce, but you need to manage those in the right way, with the right priorities to maintain your sustainable growth. People, again, it's the backbone. Human capital are the backbone. A lot of emphasis, it's part of the strategic direction of the organization, and it's you who make it happen. It's not fancy systems, not the policies. It's you, your willingness, your determination, and how far you want to take it. As they say, the sky is the limit. The organization will give you the tools, but it's really you and us together. We are one team in this time. The processes, again, that is really looking inward. That's where, again, you really need to, because we want to be running this organization in an optimized manner with a lot of consciousness on schedules, on cost, on priorities, re-engineering the processes, striving for the best systems, best policies, so that we can, as I said, maintain that competitive edge that we are having. And technology. Technology is really the way forward. In every aspect of the business we do, technology is an enabler. Technology is not the objective by itself. It's an enabler, and it gives us a lot of tools to make us perform well and maintain that lead in this market. Standards, again, I think Ahmed earlier did address this, and I think he emphasized enough, so I'm not going to be spending time on this, but again, understanding this, there is a lot of drive going forward. Benchmarking, We will be putting a lot of emphasis on benchmarking. It's an excellence drive. We want to make sure, we want to compare ourselves to others. We might be benchmarking sometimes with industries that are not EPC industries. However, the processes are the same. A procurement process is a procurement process. So we need to look at the opportunities even sometimes if the industries are not alike. It is obviously the best benchmark if you can compare with your competitors. However, that may not be possible sometimes because of the sensitivities around the competitiveness. So we will try as much as possible with the engagement of everybody here to enhance the excellence drive and enhance our processes through benchmarking and trying to learn from others. Customer experience, again, I think is very important. And going forward, we will be launching some initiatives to bring us closer to the clients, trying to understand their concern. And actually, it gives me a great pleasure always to say that NPCC is good at this, really. It's just a matter of taking it further. In the recent past, we've worked closely with the likes of ADNOC and with Aramco for lessons learned. We shared with them new ideas for them to optimize their designs, maybe come up with a better project execution strategies, and those were well received. So I think going forward, we should work for more engagement like this. We benefit, they benefit, and it helps us both to manage effectively this relationship. Now, innovation and knowledge management, again, it's a very important thing. I think this is a competitive market, and innovation as an integral part of a sustainable growth for any organization. And we are no different than this really. So going forward, we have now a dedicated unit for innovation. The team, this organization started over 2 years ago with the drive. Now we are taking it to hopefully new heights with everybody's commitment and engagement. And the findings so far are very encouraging, actually. I think the last review we had with the manager of innovation and knowledge management is that so far on the latest submissions that we are talking about over $24 million of savings, with a lot more if we look at what's going to come. So I think there are a lot of benefits to look for from entrenching the innovation drive. Knowledge management is also critical. As I said, we have thousands of man-years of experience around the organization. We want to bring it all under one platform and give everybody that access to tap into this knowledge base. Continuing with that, this is just to share with you what we have. We have 18 strategic objectives, and are the ones that I covered in the earlier slide. That basically sets the scene for the next 5 years. That is the focus of the organization. Out of those, we derived 33 corporate objectives which are time-bound. These are for 2020. So in 2020, we have 33 corporate objectives that we need to be working on. Going further, out of these, we broke them into components. What gets measured gets done. So we've simplified those corporate objectives into deliverables that falls with the various stakeholders, and we have 350 departmental objectives. Now, as they say, how you eat an elephant piece by piece. So we try to simplify it. Sometimes people are overwhelmed when they see that task, but you just break it into components and then it becomes easy to make it smaller, and you measure it, and rest assured you will achieve it. The good news is, for everyone also around the table, is that we will all have our share of these objectives in our performance contracts. The CEO will have his share, executive management team will have their share, everyone in this will have his share of that. So we are really all one team going forward. 3 messages to leave you with. We need all to be an advocate of change. Each one of us is a building block in the puzzle. If we opt not to really place ourselves right and put the effort that we want, the picture is missing a piece. Just keep that in mind. Continuous improvement is the mindset. When there is a will, there is a way. And it takes a team to make it happen. And I would really like to close by saying that we just need to unleash the monster in us. You know, there is a lot of zeal, a lot of drive, a lot of knowledge, a lot of that. Just let it come out. The CEO and the executive management teams are committed to make it happen. Don't be hesitant. Step in. Share your thoughts, ideas to improve. Let it just come out. I said, let unleash the monster. Let it come out, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, and have a pleasant evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, this year we had the largest participation in ADPEC, so we'd like to give you a first round. like to take this opportunity to recognize those who made that event possible. I'd like to call upon to the stage Engineer Ahmed Al-Lahri, our CEO, Mr. Hanna Dada, SVP Commercial, and Mr. Jamal Al-Wahdi. الطرحاني. هدير الزعاوي. محمد البشر. أمين العنتري. From SPD. إبراهيم بن جعفر. مبارك البلوشي. علي حسين. خلود الظاهري. نور المنصوري. محمد المنصوري. أمجد راضي. علي الحارثي. خديجة الهاشمي. السناني.
يوزع عليه. Gentlemen, if you can stay on the stage for a second.
Yeah, was that, if you don't mind. I think, if you recall in my presentation, I reflected something about the local content. And we would like to seize the opportunity here to recognize the contribution of 3 of your colleagues who really walked out of their way to see that NPCC can get some rewards for its hard work in this particular area. There was a lot of work done behind the scene with some of the local authorities to recover some of the expenses that we paid in recognition for pushing up the level in the in-country value. And we would like to recognize the efforts of 3 critical players, quiet players. Muhammad Sha'ban, in case you wonder what sort of benefits that your colleagues brought to the organization, it's 2.4 million per year. So it's 24 million savings for the organization over the next few years. And I think they deserve a round of applause definitely for that. Aisha, is she in? Aisha Muhammad? No? Anyone from finance would like to volunteer to collect on her behalf? Or is she here? Last but not least, Ahmed al-Madani. Ahmed Sha'ban will receive it on his behalf. I think he's busy somewhere. I think he's serving time. He enrolled in the military service, that's why. Thank you very much.
I would like to call upon Mr. Nasser Al-Dini to provide us with his insight on HSE and quality.
Management, ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to be standing here before you presenting our HSE performance for year 2019, as well as our plans ahead for year 2020 and beyond. As our CEO have highlighted earlier, the year of 2019 was a year of achievements. We obtained 5-star HSE audit, an external HSE audit conducted by British Safety Council, and we scored 97% in that. That has resulted in us receiving the prestigious HSE award from British Safety Council, this Sword of Honor. We were among the few organizations around the globe to receive such an HSE prestigious award. Also in year 2019, we received the Golden Medal from PROSPA. That's again, as a result, a direct result of sustaining a very good HSE performance for 6 years running. Also, we've been able successfully in obtaining an IOSH accreditation for HSE training centers. So all of our HSE training materials are accredited by IOSH. As we always say, safety first and always. Our dedication and commitment towards safety had made us conduct a number of HSE campaigns, both on the job and off the job. On the job, one of the HSE campaigns was Enhanced Safety Campaign, and that successfully was completed by a reduction of more than 30% of heart-related injuries compared to 2018. Also, for the off-job HSE campaigns, we conducted an HSE awareness campaign in Safaniya, Saudi Arabia. That was part of our CSR initiatives in collaboration with Aramco. That campaign was successfully conducted and was well appreciated by our client, Aramco. We also launched an HSE competition called We HSE. We had more than 63 suggestions from 31 participants, and surely today we'll be acknowledging and rewarding these participants. So all these good HSE achievements had a direct result on our lost time injury frequency rate, where we have sustained completed the year of 2019 with 0.11 LTIFR against a set target of 0.30. That was a direct result of our good HSE performance, and it was a drop of more than 15% from year 2018. Similarly, in total recordable injury frequency rate, we locked the year with 0.98 against a set target of 1.28. Again, that was also a drop of more than 11%. However, as we always say, safety first and we really need to be committed towards HSE, and as Uzaid highlighted, 100% HSE. We had our share of some undesired serious HSE incidents in year 2019. These are reminders that we need to be HSE focused, and we should have no complacency when it comes to HSE or quality. Next. So, beginning of the year, we had a partnership with J&J, a reputed HSE consultant that have conducted an HSE diagnostic survey to gauge the HSE understanding and the HSE perception of both the management and the middle line management and the shop floor, which means at all levels, to gauge and see that whether we are HSE aligned or not. We found a number of areas that we are good at, as well as there are a number of areas that we need to improve. So, we've conducted an HSE engagement workshop in the beginning of the year, highlighting these gray areas and focusing on the way forward. So in year 2020 and beyond, we'll be focusing more and more on the HSE proactive indicators and HSE lead indicators. Further, we shall be enhancing our HSE culture. This HSE engagement workshop was only the start of many things to come in year 2020 and beyond. We have improved our HSE communication, and we're encouraging more and more of two-way communication. We HSE is one indication of our commitment towards establishing a two-way communication. This year also, we'll be establishing an HSE office committee led by Senior Vice President of Engineering, Mr. Osama Taqi. So the focus will be more and more on the safety around the offices and the surroundings. I've already covered about Ayush partnership, and this year in 2020 we shall be upgrading our HSE management system towards ISO 45001. That new ISO standard will be combining both our ISO 14001 environmental management system as well as occupational health and safety management system ISO 18001. This says it all. When it comes to quality, our best will do. In year 2019, we achieved a quality index of 87% against a set target of 85. Our client satisfaction also rose to 84% against a set target of 74. Lessons learned, we doubled, yes. Lesson learned, we've increased in 2019. We had more than 4 times what we had in 2018. Our Aramco Quality Index clearly indicates that we are higher than the set target of 94. We are just about 94.8. However, similar to HSE, in quality also, we had our share of some undesired events that had raised certain concerns from our clients. So, in 2020, we are 100% quality focused. And as our CEO said, we require total commitment for all of us to obtain this 100% quality. And as one of our executives said, to achieve 100%, you require to apply more than 110% of your efforts. So collectively, hopefully, we'll be again meeting here in 2021, talking about greater HSE and quality achievements. So thank you to you all. We have also been focusing on the critical risks towards ensuring an HSE excellence. Can you just take us through the slides? These are initiatives towards increasing a two-way communication and establishing a better HSE culture at the shop floor level. So last year, as we've highlighted, we've launched an HSE competition to engage in a two-way communication and to foster the HSE culture. We HSE. We had more than 31 participants who have came forward with their HSE suggestions and initiatives. Today, we'll be acknowledging and rewarding these gentlemen. So I'd like upon Mr. Ahmed Al-Bahri, our CEO, to come forward to the stage.
Surya Wanashi. Ilyas Al-Abri. Ahmed Musa. Ramesh Gopal. Gary Shankar. Robert Baz. Sami Oda. Ganner Magiran. Lavjan Raj. حذيفة عبيد. Ronald Kabusu. Ahmed Rashid. Jitendra Singh. Nibu Thomas. Jintu George. Ebenezar Abwanta. Jayesh Prabhakaran. Mohanlal Yohanan, Rathi Shrabi, Sheikh Al-Belushi, Jawahar Al-Marzuki, Rajivan, Hagar, Saif Al-Hosani, Abdurrahman Shaykh, Ali Harfi, Muhammad Rab, Osama Abdul Mati, Srinivasan Kanan, Alex Abraham,
So thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. And without further ado, I'd like to call upon Abdulaziz Al-Marzuki, ICT Director, to come to the stage.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good morning, NPCC team. In fact, I'm delighted and honored to stand in front of you and talk to you about NPCC ambitious digital transformation journey called Takamul, which has commenced last year. Actually, I find it a great opportunity to extend our sincere appreciation to each and every one of you for all the support and cooperation extended to the IT team to ensure a successful digital journey. Before I take you through my presentation slides, I would like to start with an inspiring video.
Digital transformation. It's revolutionizing our lives and accelerating all the time. In oil and gas, we all need to embrace digital transformation to make our industry fit for the 21st century and beyond. We already use these technologies in every other part of our lives. At home, in our cars, to shop and travel. They are changing and creating industries. This is the fourth industrial revolution. Data-driven technologies provide huge potential to reduce risks and create value. Now is the time to harness the power of data to transform how we work. It's about adopting digital solutions to improve decision-making, increase uptime, and optimize production, enhance safety management, and reduce costs. Digital transformation is essential to the future for our industry. And there's a huge prize at stake. We are building bridges between where we are now and where we need to be. This is about taking control of our own destiny. We must be bold, think big, and be brave. Together, let's transform the future.
Well, before we dive deep into the details of our digital transformation journey, I would like to spend a couple of minutes with you on some digital terminologies. I think many of us, if not all of us, came across few digital terminologies like automation, digitization, digital transformation. Now, how many of you would agree that the three terminologies have the same meaning? Any guesses? Any hands? And how many of you would believe that each one has a different meaning? Great. This leads me to another question. But there is a rule for this question. No Mr. Google or Siri assistance, no digital assistance. Mobile phones are down, please. Can any one of you briefly explain to us what does digital transformation mean? Any volunteer? Come on now. Any one of you? Okay. Each terminology has a different meaning. When we talk about automation, it's mainly a technology which a process or a procedure is performed with minimal human assistance. Moving to digitization, it is converting an information into a digital format. If we recall, recently we have shared with you the initiative of replacing ink signature with digital signature. This is what it means here. Digital transformation, it's leveraging technology to address a business operational challenge. This is what we mean by digital transformation. And now, let's move to our digital transformation journey. Are we ready? Let's start. In 2017, our journey has started with a project called ERP EPC, which means modernizing our digital foundation. So the management has entrusted IT to form a core team and capture the business requirement in high levels, and with this team explore the market to identify state-of-the-art solution that is most appropriate to our business, futuristic, agile, and meets our business requirement. In 2018, the team came back with an extensive analysis and study for shortlisting the most appropriate solutions. And the management opted to engage a Tier 1 consultancy firm to help the team enhance the business requirements in details and award the project. Moving to phase 3 of the project, we call it the implementation phase, where we stand today. Now here I would like to highlight that the management has seen that this project is very critical for the business, and big bang might be a bit risky. So we have adopted a phased approach for this project. Let me take you through some further details But before we move to that, we have identified Microsoft to be a partner for our back office or supporting functions and emerging technologies, Aviva to cover our EPC business functions, and Dell, an infrastructure company. As we can see, our journey has started in November 2019, and it will take us around 24 months to conclude. Here we are talking about the ERP EPC. Now, few key milestones to achieve this year and next year. As we can see, in April 2020, HC and payroll and finance design finalization would be completed. See, this phase of implementation consists of 5 stages, starting with analysis phase, then moving into system design phase, where you all will get an opportunity to validate the requirement and approve the system design. Phase 3 or stage 3 of this phase would be the system configuration installation. Stage 4 would be the UAT stage, users acceptance testing, where we all will sit and experiment the system and ensures that it meets our business requirement. And last stage would be go live. As I said, in April 2020, HC payroll system design finalization. In July 2020, engineering system design finalization. And subsequently, in October, engineering ERM and material catalog will go live. In February 2021, HR, payroll, and finance would go live. In June 2021, supply chain system design would be completed. And in 3 months' time, they will go live. In October 2021, the material catalog construction management will go live. And finally, the enterprise asset management would go live. That will be in November 2021. Now, how many of us would agree that our journey would conclude in November 2021? Yeah? Surprisingly, any journey has a destination, but not digital transformation. The only constant thing in our digital transformation is the change. Agree? Next. Now, I'm sure many of you came across futuristic technologies like Internet of Things, robotics, cloud, mobility, and many other technologies. I'm sure many of you might be asking a question. Are these technologies going to see the light in NPCC? How? And when? Here is the good news. NPCC leadership team has viewed these digital technologies to be tools for enabling our business, and has made the decision to develop a structured digital transformation roadmap that is most appropriate to our line of business through IT strategy, aligning to the business strategy. Now, you might be asking a question. Why do we need to change? Why do we need to transform? Is it really required? NPCC being over 45 years plus of an organization, proven to be very successful, already won mega projects, things are working fine. Answers to these questions would be in the next video.
Kodak had the first digital camera back in 1977. Whenever technology changes the landscape of an industry, there are some businesses that adapt and thrive, and others that continue doing the same old thing until it's too late. For Kodak, who fell behind due to the advent of the digital camera, the situation was a little different. Kodak actually patented the first digital camera back in 1977. It was one that used a magnetic cassette to store images of about 100 kilobytes. However, over the coming years, Kodak made so much money off of film that they let the new technology gather dust, not realizing its potential. The company continued to focus on traditional film cameras, even when it was clear that the market was moving towards digital. When Kodak finally got into the digital market, they were selling cameras at a loss and still couldn't make up enough sales to catch up to those competitors which had seen the potential of digital cameras early on. Currently, Kodak is losing over $200 million a year. The lesson learned? In the world of business, always keep an eye on the market and be responsive to future trends. If not, it could cost you everything.
And now, I find it an opportunity to share with you our Takamul theme, our digital transformation journey theme called Takamul. I would call it an intelligent transformation, 360-degree view towards the future. We might be also asking, who's responsible for digital transformation? Is it IT? Is it the CEO? Or the leadership team? Ladies and gentlemen, it's all of us responsible for digital transformation. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll leave you with a few words. Let's all be the change. Let's all drive the change. Today, NPCC counts on all of us. Let's all together collaborate, shape the future of NPCC, and take our company beyond the possible. Thank you. I'm not sure if the time would permit to take some few questions, otherwise I'll take questions offline. Please feel free to ask questions. If any, otherwise I'll be happy to take your questions offline. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will shortly conclude our ceremony with a Q&A session. Now, I would like to invite the CEO and our SVPs to the stage.
I'd like to welcome you all to ask whatever question you have in mind. Please feel free. We'd like to have this sort of interaction. You know, I'll start with something. I was once in Korea, in a place called Pohang, to visit a company called POSCO. They are one of the top companies in steel manufacturing. And they had really a nice museum, futuristic museum. Imagine, I mean, a steel company, they have their own museum. I went there and there was a say just on top of the entrance. And it says, because they are from Korea, and Korea, you know that basically they have no natural resources. They don't have oil, they don't have gas, they don't have coal, they don't have, what else? Nothing. They import everything. So basically the statement that was there says, limited resources, but unlimited creativity. And today they are leading the world somehow. With no resources, nothing. They import everything from abroad. And with me, there was a Brazilian guy. Anyone from Brazil here? Okay, so I can speak freely. So he said, in Brazil, we have the opposite. Unlimited resources, but limited creativity. So please, we need you to be creative. All of us at your disposal, so please speak up.
Zaid, I have a question with regard to our operation in KSA. What is our plan to expand our operation to KSA when it comes to fabrication yard and other business operations?
Thank you, Abdulaziz. As you know, we've been working really hard with the Saudi government to allocate good land with a seafront in Saudi Arabia to try to improve our ICTIVA score. Today, Aramco, they are driving this initiative really fast, and we have really to ensure that we have the infrastructure that will enable us to maximize our positioning, our presence in Saudi Arabia. So thanks to God, we managed to secure the land. It's in Ras Al Khair, and the size is around 450,000 square meters, so it's really a big piece of land. It's in Ras Al Khair Industrial Port, excellent location, and today we are working on the strategy for identifying what are the structures that will be fabricated, or what are the operations we'll be having at Saudi Yard. Yes, there are certain input that we need to take in place to ensure that we always stay competitive. So the intention is basically to start with certain fabrication activities, such as spools, such as jackets, and maybe also to go for, let's say, small-sized platforms. But this is something that we are working on. Now, how it will be designed is another big issue, because we are engaging with Royal Haskoning. They are a specialized company in this field, and they were part of King Salman Maritime Complex. And hopefully we'll try to benefit from all the lessons learned we have in our yard here in Abu Dhabi. Yes.
I have a question.
We need mic also here, this part of the room, yeah? Thank you. Follow that.
We have mentioned last year that our company is looking at developing a new sector, which is a renewable energy, and focusing on offshore winds. What are we, or where we are on this vision?
Renewable energy now is, as was mentioned by Jamal, amongst our objectives that we are looking at during 2020. We have already started working on it. We have already made some projects in relation to renewable energy. We are putting a plan to engage the services of a renewable energy manager with us that will help us take on the recommendations that were made on the study done in its respect. There are prospects, and we are going to take it step by step to understand the work, to understand what it is, to know the market. It's Europe, we have information about India, possibility, Southeast Asia. There is a lot of competitors in the market, there's a lot of projects that are coming up, and as mentioned, we're going to take it step by step. We are working on it. Mr. Osama is in charge of the committee that is developing it as a target, as an objective. So it's being given our attention. It's on our roadmap, and we hope we will succeed very soon.
2020 is the year of preparation, and it came along with the famous saying of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed when he said that we're going to celebrate the last battle of oil. Where do you see NPCC location on the world map within the coming 10 years?
So basically, we are, as part of our strategy, we are looking at growing within our core areas, as you've seen, with regards to the shallow waters that we're working. But part of our strategy is to enhance our capabilities to enter into the deep sea, leveraging what we already know with regards to the shallow waters. But as Mujahid stated earlier, we've started buying assets, and we want to grow that capability, possibly leveraging also relationships with other experienced contractors. Another area that we're looking at is to, as stated by Jamal in the strategy, looking into building on our knowledge on the upstream oil and gas to enter into the midstream and the downstream. And our objective at the moment is to ensure that we grow our onshore to be as strong as our offshore capabilities. That will open for us tremendous opportunities. At the moment, we're already in the pipeline bidding on some very, very challenging projects like this here in Russia. It's a project which has, let me say, technically quite a few challenges over there. So we've embarked on that, and we've looked at our strategy. Again, linking to what was discussed earlier, we are not necessarily going to be, from the beginning, successful if we are trying to work on it alone. So we try to nurture certain relationships between us and at the moment Chinese, who will enhance the competitiveness. We've also brought in a tripartite cooperation with the Italians, who have the technology and have worked on similar projects in the past. Now we've got a measured path going forward, which was presented as part of the strategy, and we will be certainly well within that 10-year period, I think, meeting some of the ambitions that we already have with regards to expanding our range of services.
Of course, when you look at, let's say, the statement of His Highness Mohammed bin Zayed, looking at how to prepare the country for the future, oil and gas will play a vital role in our economy, and it will continue to play even after 50 years. 50 years is basically the export of the last, let's say, the sail away of the last tanker. But the country will still use the resources for its own requirement. We are trying to diversify, entering into renewable energy. And maybe later on, once this is achieved, maybe we will try to develop certain other areas. You never know. But of course, 50% of the GDP is from oil and gas, yeah? And if you look at, let's say, petrochemical, it will add even more. And we just heard about new explorations, yeah?
Firstly, thank you for this opportunity. It was a very informational session. And my question is more targeted. I have two questions. First of which is, thank you for sharing our goals, our 5-year plan of our outreach into different markets. My question is, how is NPCC investing in its engineering in order to meet these targets? And my second question is, will we see women offshore in the years to come? Women offshore.
It already happened, I believe. When, Ali? Do you want to say something, Alia?
Last time it was a trip. Next time it's going to be a duty.
Interesting to this because our competitors and our clients have already have full-time female employees out offshore. It's a good opportunity to connect bridges, to see on the back end and connecting it to what's there on site. Tremendously.
Of course, we need volunteers though. Do you volunteer? Osama, you want to?
You know, engineering is a fundamental of our EPC. Engineering all the time have to take the steps, the correct steps, in order to accompany the strategic objectives of the company. So when we talk about strategic objectives in all areas, engineering have to take its role. It has to take a specific actions in order to take the company around for this journey. So every time we discuss any strategic objective, engineering is present. And as you know, engineering is present in every aspect of the business. Now, to take us forward, every time we identify gaps in our engineering growth journey, we try to strengthen that growth. Either we do it internally with natural change within the engineering by strengthening the various disciplines, or by looking at working with others, because engineering must be complete in order to satisfy clients' requirement at the end of the day. So we don't stop at any of when we are faced with challenges, we either go with partnership or we will find ways of growing and supporting our growth on long term. At the time being, we are looking at fulfilling certain gaps within engineering by looking at secondment of or support of additional engineering firms specialized in specific areas. We have identified last year a few areas which we are strengthening, working on strengthening at the moment. One of them is on safety studies, which is a major input into the design, development. And then we have to look more into the process side of the engineering to find new solutions that are along with the technology development, which is fast moving. We are going to be looking at the downstream side of things. So engineering is going to be taking steps in finding the right partnership in order to develop that area of engineering within the coming years. So there are a lot of steps being taken, not only the organic growth, but there is also other phases that we are looking at from outside as well.
Assalamu alaikum. This is maybe a question or a recommendation. Do we have a plan to maximize our benefits from Expo 2020 that is coming by the end of this year?
I think we've done a campaign within our company. This was, I believe, last year. And nowadays we have a long list of volunteers. I think the list exceeds 100, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. This is, let's say, an important corporate social responsibility. And we'd like, let's say, our people to be visible in this international gathering. Now, if you have any other suggestions, then please come forward and let us know. But to my understanding, this is the extent of our participation in Expo 2020 as I speak today.
Maybe my recommendation would be to absorb more on the technical or even on the digital transformation aspect, since this is where we are going in the future. So definitely we are going to volunteer and going to be part of this national event. However, my suggestion would be to maybe prepare committees or arrange teams to absorb as much information and as much relationships with the companies that are coming and with the nations that are coming and build strong relationships with them. This is an opportunity that we shouldn't miss. It's the world's show. So I think NPCC shouldn't miss it on the technical side as well.
Thank you for your recommendation. Your point is taken, and we'll discuss maybe later after the meeting just to see how we can really capitalize on what just you mentioned.
Assalamu alaikum. From PMT. I believe that every person has a value to add in the project. So I would like to thank you for giving us the chance to communicate, and also I would like to work on this communication at workplace, because it will add up a lot of things at the project as well as the organization. So it's just like a comment more than a question. Thank you.
No, thank you very much. I mean, this is absolutely a very essential element that you touched on. Communication, collaboration is vital. Today, if we decide to isolate ourselves, we'll not be able to learn, let's say, and to ensure that we are eliminating, let's say, eliminating inefficiencies. I had so many discussions, internally and externally. The perception when it comes to one of our clients, unfortunately, is not really positive. The perception is basically we are working in silos. And I tried to test this myself. And basically, I experienced it myself. So this is something for all of us. In order to unlock the potential, in order to eliminate inefficiencies, we need to speak up. As simple as this. If we are interacting with other departments and we believe the process that the company designed is inefficient, you need to speak up. The process was made actually to help you manage this activity efficiently. If it's no longer efficient, change it. As simple as this. The world has changed. Maybe this process was designed 20 years back. It's not helpful anymore. There is nothing wrong to speak up and to say, I have an idea. There is a different way to do this activity. And you know, sometimes, let's say, repetitive activities can be easily digitized. Why should we employ someone who studied 15 years of his life to come and to do a routine job? For what? This is waste of resources. Please, and this message is to everyone within this room and also in our company. Please try as much as possible to identify these areas and let us work on them. Today we have objectives, yes? We have strategic goals. I talked a lot about HSC. I talked a lot about quality. I talked a lot about cost optimization, about achieving greater efficiencies. But I look at the bigger picture. You are the ones who are dealing with the day-to-day activities. Certain activities should be looked at. And that's why when we say under process, identify 5 critical processes to be re-engineered. So you need, first of all, to map it, to analyze it, and then to re-engineer this process. Why have we said that? Because we want to change, yeah? The intention is to be more efficient. We are in a very competitive landscape. And I cannot really emphasize more. If we cannot come up with the right execution strategy, if we cannot be competitive in what we do, we'll be simply out of the market. Is this acceptable? Because of a procedure? Because of a system designed by someone who already left the company? Does not make sense, yeah? Guys, challenge the status quo. This is very important. Challenge the status quo. If you believe that there is something that does not make sense, speak up, change it. No one here is resisting some change. We are the ones who are trying to encourage you to come forward and change.
Let's focus on the quote that says, people meet your expectation, okay? And let's summarize it in this way, that in our company we have 2 circles. The first circle is between the management and the employees, where they have to deliver a good expectation, and in return they will get it back. They should have the confidence
with their employees, they should encourage them to speak with good communication skills with both of them. There should be no boundaries between them.
Of course.
And the other circle will be between the managers and the other managers. I have been in many meetings where I noticed that they have to improve the communication skills. By this, they will achieve what they want. But if everyone has his own ideas and he is not willing to accept the others' ideas, it won't work like this. So they have to work in improving the communication skills. That's it.
Thank you very much. Absolutely. It's well said.
Good morning.
We need to communicate well and we need to listen well. Because if we don't listen, if we are just hearing, I mean, I can look at you, hear you, but I'm thinking of something else at the office. If I'm listening to you carefully, that it means that your comment is valuable to me. And I will take it seriously. So I believe here in the company, we have one business plan, one strategy. All of us sat together to work and to develop this strategy. If we have one goal, why someone will come with his own ideas or with his own plan? It should be the company plan, yes? If you can achieve better than the company plan, please be my guest. Thank you.
Good morning. Are we having plans or thoughts to invest in projects? Or do we have the capabilities? And will it increase competitiveness?
I did not really get your question.
Are we having plans or ready to invest in projects? Invest, not only to be an EPC. Do we have capabilities to do that, or it will increase in competitiveness with other bidders?
Yeah.
There was a question earlier by the young lady sitting there about where do we see NPCC on the map, maybe 10 years from today. It's a very, very important question, actually. I mean, we are so busy doing what we do here today, and we think this is it, this is the future. Things can change quickly, and we have to be ready with a long-term plan. You know, the 4 or 5 years plan that we talk about, this is what we can see. But someone, somewhere in this organization should be looking at a longer-term plan, because things can change quickly. The way we do projects today, okay, we are not in a position, basically, for the projects that require financing. And this is maybe something that we need to look at for the future. When you work in certain countries, whether it is in Africa or Southeast Asia, in some places, people expect people to come and finance, and this is a tool to maybe get into some of these areas. So far, we're not doing it, but you never know. In the future, things may change depending where NPCC will go and which direction.
Hassan, you have a question?
I have a question regarding Aramco launching this year the Zuluf increment. That is like 5 packages. And last year we lost more giant packages. There is any plan for Zuluf increment, which is it's very well deep water where we can have our TV vessels, most of them, they can work in that area. Especially now the other competitors like McDermott and others are very busy in the market right now. So far what we have more than 70 vessel fleet in Aramco right now, which is we are the biggest so far. especially with the financial issue with McDermott right now. Aramco looking at us right now in a very close eyes to be one of their best contractors. But there is some plans, they're looking for us, how we're going to target if we got increment of Zuluf for maybe one package, two packages. It's a very big challenge as well. Thank you.
You know, we learned a lot after bidding for Morjan. Morjan, we lost to McDermott, we lost one package to LNT, maybe one to Cyber. Our strategy has changed since then, and we're pricing projects in a completely different ways. Zuluf is very important for us. We have had several discussions on Zuluf, and we're still at the phase of formulating the bidding strategy. For now, it's basically part of the Aramco LTA. That means we cannot partner with our competitors. Morjan was bid in a different way. Now, Aramco are discussing it internally, and we, at the same time, are having some discussions with one of our competitors, at least, to look at ways, maybe of partnership, if Aramco allows that. Certainly, we'll be targeting, for sure, not less than 3 of these packages. Maybe with partnership, we could be partnering aiming at the whole thing. But you know, this is a very important project.
It's a work in front to 2025, 2024. This is why it's a huge development. I was attending the sessions, but it's a huge development. That's why.
Yeah, the one thing maybe we need to leave this meeting with them. Today we are actually being challenged as a company. We are passing through a very difficult time. And the way we are bidding and winning projects today, actually the margins are extremely tight. Saying that and considering that we are in an EPC business, which is basically by its nature is full of risks. Anything that happens, anything that goes wrong will have a drastic impact on the bottom line of the company. This is why nowadays we're talking about cutting costs, being efficient, and engineering processes, improving anything that we can improve, because we cannot afford to be complacent, because we don't have. In the old days, we used to have margins of 15% and maybe even more. Today, our margins are in the 5–6%. It's really a challenging market, difficult, and we have to be ready for whatever may come as far as challenges and problems.
Thank you, Majid. And that's why nowadays, with the 3 wins from Aramco, we managed to win these projects only after changing our mindset, only after looking at, let's say, the winning strategy. We have it. We have these 3 projects. Now we want to make sure that we execute them in the right manner and we maximize the benefit out of them. There was a plan that we designed for these projects, and we need to keep always our eyes open to see how can we improve the plan, not to make it worse. How can we reduce the cost, not to increase the cost? How to come up with, let's say, more efficiencies rather than overruns. Because if we face overruns in these projects, whenever we make any change in the plan, we see what is the impact of this change. We have visibility, we look forward. Today I take a decision that will have an impact in 10 months' time. I need to look at these scenarios. And together as a team, we need to decide what is the best scenario. So let's be commercially conscious in the coming stage. It's very important.
Yes. My name is Sheikh Al-Attas from Learning and Development. As we know that our country has paying attention so much for the youth and also for the happiness. And we are all knows that NPCC has CDP, Career Development Program, and also SDP, Saudi Development Program. And I believe that the management is also not neglecting other nationalities' development. So, related to that, I've seen also other big company, they have a section of youth development. So I'm suggesting if we can also add into our organization in learning and development for the youth development. Thank you.
We'll look into your recommendation. Of course, we worked really hard on the talent development front. So in addition to the CDP program, we introduced now 4 programs. So we have Tamkeen, Tatweer, Qiyada, Riyada. 4 programs we just embarked on. In addition to that, we have the e-learning platform available for everyone. In addition to that, we are working on the fast track route for those who are considered to be high flyers. So we are working on different, let's say, fronts. And I believe it would really make a big difference in our organization.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Construction company, I believe that assets and equipment is the most important factor that lead to our success. Towards our vision to the renewable energy and to work in the deep water, are we ready to invest in the equipment and assets that lead to this success? Because as we know that we are, as Mr. Ahmed said, we deal about the margin. We need to have a study about that to see whether this will be worth to do it or not.
Well, first of all, the most important asset is human resources, human capital.
Sure.
Okay? When it comes to other resources, other assets, we've been always investing. In the past 5 years, we invested more than $1 billion in assets. Yeah. You're talking about, let's say, the 550, the 650, the 450, the 750, all these self-elevated barges. Talk about the DLS 4200, Yas, Saadiyat, Al-Maria, DP2 vessel. This was last year, Al-Maria. And last year as well, Delma 2000. And last week we had a meeting also to look at other marine units that are available to acquire. So we are always continuing to look at developing our assets and to have more capabilities. Now we're talking about also extending, let's say, the legs of our jack-up barges, making them self-propelled, you see? Introducing new mobile equipments. We are looking at even gantry cranes. We are looking at SPMTs. So this is always something that we are thinking of, because without, let's say, without tools, you'll not be able to execute. You have the brain, the person who thinks, but you need also the tools. Huh?
Assalamu alaikum. My question is regarding succession planning.
Yeah. gentleman asked about investing in tools and equipment. This is something that looks, yes, face value. We need barges, we need I don't know what, but the company has to be careful nowadays. You don't want to be very asset heavy. It can be asset heavy if the market is so good and the utilization is high. We either invest or we can partner, and we have to weigh our options in a good way. Now, deep water is mentioned so many times. Deep water has its limitations. When it comes to oil, basically people now are investing in shallow waters because it's much, much cheaper. The only thing coming out of the deep water now mostly is gas. And gas, we are challenged with something else also, because usually pipelines, in deep water are linked with surf, which means like today you have McDermott, they have a linkage with GE because they supply all the subsea equipment. Saipem are with one subsea, Technip are with FMC. So there is a limitation that we have there. We can certainly attack certain projects, but this is something we're working on to try to see how we can overcome this difficulty.
Yeah, hello. Regarding succession planning, now we are going towards a period where we will see we are becoming too much top heavy, and there is a risk in future that there will be more people to ask questions rather than people to do the work. So, because we are not really developing second, third and fourth line of people to take over. So what is our plan for succession plan?
I fully agree that we are headed towards being maybe top heavy. But in any case, in addressing the issue of succession planning, we are working on developing from fresh graduates all the way up. So the CEO talked a short while ago about different programs that we are having in developing not just the technical skills of the people, but also their leadership capabilities at different levels of management. Obviously, not everybody who's being developed will have the capability to go right to the top, but they will be managing different levels of the organization. So there is a focus on that, and we do need to strengthen in every area, at every level of the organization. These programs are today in place. They are being held with the top institutions in the world. You mentioned Harvard is one amongst them. So there's a big focus, not just in NPCC, but also in the group that we are in, Sinaat, to develop leaders for the future.
I'll tell you something. Today, I mentioned about how we are utilizing our resources, our human resources. Not necessarily the most appropriate use. Today, I learn from my kids a lot. Really. Sometimes they embarrass me. I feel embarrassed because they know more. But this is reality. They know a lot. Do we need to wait for someone 20 years or 25 years to be, let's say, a leader within our organization? Why? Today we have ministers, fresh graduates, yeah? You know what? I was sharing, let's say, this story about one of the ministers. I'll mention his name, Dr. Thani Ziyudi. Dr. Thani Ziyudi, I was checking my list of contacts. I found him in my list, but with a different title. You know what was the title? Project Engineer, Master. And this was maybe 12 years ago. He was a project engineer. He came to see me in my porta cabin at Emirates Steel to talk about CO2 capturing. Today he is the minister, yes? So we don't need really to wait that long to give people responsibility. We need to empower our teams. We need to empower our people. Not necessarily they will take the right decisions from day one, fine, but they will learn, yeah? If they have the right mentor, the right coach, everyone is learning, it's okay. So this is something I believe is crucial. Thank you for highlighting it. And we need to work on it ourselves.
Hello, good morning, gentlemen. My name is Edgar. I have a question. My first question goes to Strategic and Business Development team. During the presentation, the gentleman mentioned that NPCC is trying to explore the African markets, and he talked of exploring areas like Egypt. We're already there. And he mentioned, I did see Nigeria. Fortunately, I come from Nigeria actually. My question is, where are we in terms of exploring the market in Nigeria? Because Nigeria has a lot of potential in terms of oil and gas, especially EPC. And then that's my first question. The second question goes to the offshore team. And this is concerning the Aramco project. In Aramco project, what are we thinking of doing differently in 2020 in terms of reducing accidents, especially our offshore operations? In 2019, a lot of incidents happened, especially on Aramco project, TP21, the 12 sleepover, 8 and 4 sleepover, and also in the 4 PDM as well. We've had series of incidents which happened offshore. And this is also having a lot of impact on the way Aramco is looking at NPCC. So what are we thinking differently in 2020? This is my second question. Thank you.
I'll answer on Nigeria market. We are at present, as mentioned in the presentation, planning to have a visit to Nigeria. Part of the visit will be to meet potential clients. We are looking at the Dangote project. We have been looking at it for now more than a year, just waiting for it to be officially issued as a project for tendering. But in parallel, we are doing a study on Nigeria market in general, meeting clients as well as competitors. We in parallel have recently had discussions with Saipem, I would say, to just understand the market, what does it take to set up and execute projects. Nigerian content, having a company registered in Nigeria, having a Nigerian partner is critical. So this is what we need to be doing, what we are studying in the market to see how to set up ourselves there, including potentially having to have one or more of our barges registered in Nigeria. So the market is being looked at to look at opportunities and what does it take to operate in Nigeria. I'm not sure.
Yeah, next month I think we're paying a visit to Lagos, and I'll take you with me, Edgar. I don't know if I'll take you back. You talked about the incidents in offshore projects in Saudi. Basically, there were a couple of incidents on the cable. And of course, the offshore environment is not an easy one. Earlier, someone talked about communication. Most of these incidents, whether the ones that happened onshore or offshore, had to do with communications. The procedures were there. It's communicating the procedure to the people. This time, our strategy is is well defined, whether it is onshore or offshore. We're going into the very small details, because usually problems comes from these small details. So we are going to attack these things in a different way. The procedures will be communicated in a completely different way. So even today, maybe Edgar, you're aware, our construction managers basically are going offshore, they're visiting vessels, they are communicating the message, they're communicating the procedures to the people just to make sure we are doing it right. Hopefully you will see a change in the coming projects.
Thank you. We need to be present, we need to be visible. The management, maybe as someone mentioned in the back, said we are top heavy. Well, if we are so, this, let's say, category, they need to be always on the ground as much as possible. We don't give orders from offices. We make sure that whatever decision we take is being, let's say, executed correctly in the right manner, yeah? We don't just give instructions and ask the person who is at the end of the organization to execute it. So all of us are giving instructions, and the worker, eventually, he is the one doing the job. We want to make sure that we are part of it. All of us part of it.
Thank you everyone for your time.
One thing to add before we go is the fact today that we are fully dependent on almost one market India. And this is a very very challenging, very risky situation, to be honest. Earlier there was questions about things like how we grow our engineering. This is applicable to all areas in NPCC. This is somehow related to the issue of succession planning, to whatever people mentioned that we may be top heavy in certain areas. It's all related to the fact that NPCC is in one place. If you look at the international companies, our competitors, they have offices in Rome, they're in Paris, they're in Sharjah, in Abu Dhabi, in China, and that gives people more opportunity, the opportunity to grow, basically, and have better engineering, maybe better construction, better whatever procurement system, because they are in different areas. This is why we are also looking at geographically expanding the company. If this company is to grow and provide opportunities to its employees, you know, because if we remain here, all of us, yes, that big bottleneck for people growth as well. And this is something that's on our agenda for the future. Thank you.
We want to be a leading company in the energy sector, so it's not really just oil and gas sector. Last question. I think you need to wait for the mic.
One of the latest trends in business, or the strategy that most of the big companies is adopting, is to support the entrepreneurs that would really serve their core business. So, which is an example given by big companies. Is there a chance for NPCC to adopt this future as a strategy to support entrepreneurs who would serve the business of NPCC? even Aramco is part of its innovation added to the R&D, is supporting the entrepreneurs who would help them build their future business. So is there a chance for NPCC to adopt this in the future, or near future at least?
This is something related to our supply chain, and we want, this is actually a target for supply chain to make sure that we have sufficient number of partners in each category, in each area. And today, we are somehow under pressure because of having, let's say, only one player in the market. And you never know what sort of challenges might happen to this one player. So developing new players to support our business is something that we should do. Maybe we are not doing much today to develop new partners, but this is something that we need to work on for sure. I recall in one of my visits, one of the countries, I'll not mention their name, basically in one sector, they have a mandate to have 50% of their supply chain within the country. 50%. And what they do, they fund entrepreneurs to develop in certain areas, and they give them off-take agreements for 5 years. Of course, I mean, that sector is considered to be very critical to the country, and that's why they are doing that. Maybe we are not in similar criticality, but it gives us at least let's say the importance of having your supply chain strong.
Just maybe add to that, Zaid, and I'd say that the element of entrepreneurship needs to be inbuilt in every one of us in whatever it is that we're doing. We are all somehow experts or with knowledge in the areas in which we work in. And if every day we are working with the mentality of an entrepreneur, trying to look at how can I do what I do better, and that's what's going to lead to what was mentioned here earlier, unlocking value within ourselves, demonstrating that we can do something better, make our jobs a lot more exciting, but also contribute towards the growth of this company. And that's the mentality, I think, if we all wake up every day and come into work with that mentality that we are really entrepreneurs and there's something we can do better in this vertically integrated company, I think we can do a lot.
Any closing statements? Any closing statement? Well, I'd like to thank you very much for...
Hi, I'm Maria Mazabi from PCD. So everybody is talking about AI, artificial intelligence. And that's why His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, he launched AI University. So I saw in the presentation Mr. Al-Marzouki talking about digital transformation system-wise. So what about AI in different things? Since most of the companies are moving towards AI to improve their efficiency and productivity. So where does NPCC stand?
We are embarking on a number of initiatives for sure. Unfortunately, today we are somehow crippled. We cannot really embark immediately on these initiatives because we don't have the right base. The platform is weak somehow. So the digital transformation program we are having today, the $40 million investment, it's just to make sure that we have the right platform. What sort of initiatives we have? Yes, we looked at a number of initiatives. We want to have connected workers. This is one of the, let's say, using RFID for our workers to identify where are they at any single point in time. This is to serve our safety objectives and as well to increase our efficiency. We are looking at the fleet management system to monitor our fleet wherever we are. We are looking as well at connected equipments. So this is the Internet of Things. We have sensors on every mobile equipment to basically look at how it is being managed, utilized, and what is the efficiency we are getting from these equipments. So we have number, of course, I mean, our industry is not really an industry that you can apply so many things on. It's somehow, I mean, conventional industry. Yes, we try as much as possible to introduce robotics, let's say in our welding, and this is something that we have already introduced. 100% automatic welding has been introduced and so forth. There are lots of initiatives that we are working on, even just to keep you in the picture. Any repetitive activity hopefully will be automated. So, just an example. Someone who is today working on preparing invoices. I don't know who is that today. But this can be easily digitized. You can have a solution that works 24/7, weekends, no sick leaves, nothing, and he does not cost the company much. This is what basically you are asking for. What does it mean? It means that we will use our resources today, the people we have, we will use them in more important issues. It does not mean that we will get rid of you guys, but it means that we have more important issues to be focused on. And this is something that we are embarking on, hopefully. Now, how long will it take us to reach there? The answer is with Abdulaziz. Every day he gives me a different answer.
Highlighted in my presentation the digital transformation roadmap. It's an exercise which will take us around 16 weeks to come up with this roadmap. We have just started and the task force has been already formed. So in 16 weeks time, we will come up with a better clarity on such initiatives. And before we wrap up, I would like to take this opportunity to invite all of you to share your ideas. As Abu Zaid said, there are repetitive tasks which we need to digitize. We need to deploy our people in a more innovative way. And I kindly seek your ideas and volunteer in helping us identify processes which are repetitive, which are to be digitized. Thank you.
There is one more item on digitization. We are moving slowly towards the digital twin. So today, you know, we design in 3D. We have introduced in our operations the construct sim, and this is linking between engineering, construction, and procurement. So this moving towards digital twin in terms of the EPC, it will increase efficiency in a lot of areas. So this is another journey which will be partly implemented through the ERP that we are embarking on today, and some of it will have to develop over the time. But this is another area of improving efficiency through digitalization.
So this is something that will come very soon, and hopefully we'll be able to utilize our time more efficiently. Hopefully we'll be having less meetings. Hopefully we'll be having less discussions on issues that does not matter at all. I believe with all this technology, we'll be all focusing on what matters. And we have more time to think how to grow the business, how to expand our capabilities, how to think out of the box, how to penetrate new markets. Today, we are supposed to spend at least, management team, 50% of our time on strategy. But tell me, who is spending 1 hour a day on strategy? No one today. Why? Because we are busy finding the problem. The problem is not known to us. We are busy to find. We spend 1 hour meeting just to identify the problem that we have. Imagine with all these tools, we will sit only if we have a problem, and the problem will be clear to everyone. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate the discussion. And just one last statement from my side. I always say to whoever I meet, you need to keep your fingerprints. You cannot just come and leave the office without keeping your fingerprints. You need to have a say in everything you do. It's very important. They say people go with life, but others grow with life. Think before you leave your day, what have I done to change my workplace, to make it a better workplace? Only if we do so, we will unlock the potential we have within us, the monster, as Jamal mentioned. Thank you very much.